Take a moment and look down at your hands. Think about what they have done for you over the decades. They have held your children. They have cooked countless meals, built homes, typed letters, and carried you through your entire life. But now things have changed. Maybe you woke up this morning and your fingers felt like they were locked in place. Maybe opening a simple jar has become a painful chore. And even when the house is perfectly warm, your hands feel like blocks of ice. If you are dealing with cold, stiff, or achy hands, you are probably being told it is just arthritis or a normal part of getting older. You are told to just take a painkiller and deal with it. But this is wrong. A recent study published in the Journal of Hand Therapy revealed that chronic hand stiffness is rarely just a joint problem. It is profoundly linked to microcirculation. When the tiny blood vessels in your hands become congested, your joints are starved of the oxygen and fluid they need to move. But the encouraging truth is that you can force that circulation back open in a matter of seconds. Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast, where East meets West to help you move freely, feel younger, and stay independent. Today, Japan's oldest doctor will show you 3 highly effective exercises that instantly improve circulation and blood flow in your hands and fingers. And you do not need any special equipment, just a rubber band and a small ball. And if you follow along with the demonstrations on your screen today, you will physically feel the warmth returning to your hands before this video is even over. Doctor, I know you treat hand pain constantly in your clinic. Why is this specific routine so important for seniors?
John, it is important because your hands are your independence. When your hands lose their strength and mobility, you lose your ability to care for yourself. People stop writing, they stop gardening, and they struggle to even button their own shirts. But what I want everyone to know is that this decline is not inevitable. By actively driving blood flow back into the extremities, we can unglue those stiff joints and rebuild that lost strength.
That is exactly the kind of hope people need right now. Before we begin the exercises, we need a little engagement from everyone watching. Go down to the comments and type the word cold if your hands constantly feel freezing, or type stiff if your knuckles ache and lock up on you. And let us know where you're watching from.
I promise whether your hands are just a little cold or severely arthritic, these movements will meet you where you are.
Now, doctor, before we start moving, I think we need to address the root of the problem. Why do our hands become the first place we feel this intense stiffness and lack of blood flow after 60?
This is a fundamental mechanical issue. Your hands and your feet are the farthest points from your heart. The blood has to travel a long way through a network of vessels that naturally narrow as we get older. When your heart pumps, it prioritizes your vital organs. Your hands simply get whatever is left over.
So they are essentially at the very end of the supply chain.
Exactly. And to make matters worse, look at how we use our hands today. We hold cell phones for hours. We type on keyboards. We grip steering wheels. Our hands are constantly locked in a closed gripping position. This constant tension literally squeezes the tiny blood vessels shut.
So we are cutting off our own circulation without even realizing it.
Precisely. And when a joint is starved of warm, oxygen-rich blood, the lubricating fluid inside that joint becomes thick and sticky. That is the stiffness you feel in the morning. If you also have osteoarthritis, that lack of circulation makes the inflammation and the aching exponentially worse.
So let me word this correctly. The goal today is to manually override that system and pull the blood back into the fingers.
Yes. We are going to do 3 main exercises, but each one has a few distinct parts. Please watch the screen closely so you can see exactly how to perform them. Let's begin with exercise number 1, which focuses on pure mobility.
All right, let's dive in. What is the very first movement?
Okay, hold both of your hands out in front of you, with your fingers pointing straight up toward the ceiling. We are going to start with partial finger curls. Slowly curl just the tips of your fingers downward so they touch the very top of your palm right at the base of your fingers.
Okay, so we are just bending the upper knuckles.
Exactly. Focus strictly on moving through those top knuckles. Gently press your fingertips into your palm to activate the muscles. You should feel a slight pull going down your fingers. Hold it for a brief second, relax, and repeat this 5 times.
That feels like a very targeted stretch. What is the next step?
Now we reach further. Curl your fingers down again, but this time aim for the middle of your palm. Really focus on rolling the fingers inward. Hold for a second and repeat 5 times.
I can feel that stretching the back of my hand now.
Good. The third movement is reaching down toward the very bottom of your palm, right near the wrist crease. Curl them as tightly as you can. You might notice that one hand can reach further down than the other. This is very common, especially if you have arthritis in one hand.
I actually notice my right hand is much tighter than my left on this one.
That is great awareness, John. If you notice an imbalance like that, spend a few extra repetitions on the tighter side to open those joints up. Now we are going to focus entirely on the thumbs.
Okay, what do we do with the thumbs?
Press your thumb tightly against the side of your index finger. Clamp it down firmly. Hold for a brief second and release. Do this 5 times. Next, take your thumb and reach it across your hand toward the middle of your palm. Try to reach as far across as you comfortably can. Hold for a second. Repeat 5 times again.
My thumb joint feels surprisingly stiff doing that.
The base of the thumb is one of the most common places for osteoarthritis to hide. Keeping it mobile is critical. Finally, let's do thumb circles. Draw a big, wide circle in the air with your thumb. Do 5 circles in one direction, then switch and do 5 in the opposite direction.
That really loosens up that bottom joint. So we have curled the fingers and isolated the thumbs. Is that the end of the first exercise?
Not quite. We have the second half of this mobility routine, which focuses heavily on coordination. As we age, the neural pathways between the brain and the hands can become sluggish. We need to wake them up.
I see. How do we do that?
We are going to do finger pinches. Take your thumb and pinch it firmly against the tip of your index finger. Press them together for a brief second, and then release. Do this 5 times. Then move to your middle finger. Pinch and release 5 times. Work your way down to the ring, finger, and finally the pinky.
Oh, the ring finger feels a bit clumsy. It does not want to coordinate.
That is very normal. If you feel like you lack coordination on certain fingers, do not worry. Over time, your brain will rebuild that pathway and it will become smooth. To make this harder, you can alternate rapidly between fingers. Index, middle, ring, pinky, and back again.
That is a great brain exercise as well. What is next?
Now we move to the full fist. I want you to curl all your fingers down and clamp them tightly into your palm. Bring your thumb across the outside of your fingers. Squeeze and make a tight fist for one brief second. Then burst your hand open. Spread your fingers and thumb as wide and far apart as you possibly can.
Wow, opening them wide feels like a massive relief.
It is. You are stretching the fascia in the palm of your hand. Just squeeze tight, then burst open. Repeat that entire cycle 5 times. And finally, we will finish this first exercise with my absolute favorite movement. I call them piano fingers.
Piano fingers. I like the sound of that. How does it work?
Put your hands out in front of you and simply mimic playing a piano keyboard. Wiggle and flutter all your fingers rapidly in the air for about 5 seconds. then relax. Do this 5 times, total.
That actually makes my hands feel incredibly warm.
That warmth is fresh blood rushing into the tissues you just stretched. Go through all of these mobility movements daily. If you find one specific motion that gives you relief from tightness or achiness, throw in a few extra repetitions on that spot. Now let's move to exercise number 2.
All right, let's keep up that pace. For this next exercise, it looks like we need a prop, am I right?
Yes, this is a self-massage technique that feels absolutely wonderful. You will need a soft, round object. A tennis ball works perfectly. You could also use a lacrosse ball or even a firm dog toy. Place the ball on a flat surface like your kitchen table or a desk.
Okay, I have my tennis ball on the table. Where do we begin?
Let's start by focusing on the thumb. Take the fleshy pad of your thumb and press it down into the ball. Apply enough pressure so that it feels like a good, deep massage. Now, simply roll your thumb up and down over the ball.
The ball is basically doing all the hard work for us.
Exactly. I like to roll over one specific spot for about 5 seconds, then shift the angle slightly and hit a different spot. Explore the entire area around the base of the thumb. If you hit a spot that feels particularly tight or achy, stop right there. Maintain the pressure and do tiny rolls over that knot until it begins to melt and loosen.
That feels incredible on the base of the thumb. Where do we move next?
From the thumb, move directly into the center of the palm. Progressively press your weight into the ball to really dig into those thick palm muscles. Then, work your way up into your fingers. Start at the index finger and roll all the way down to the pinky.
Can we roll the whole hand at once?
Yes. Once you have targeted the individual areas, place your whole hand over the ball. Curl your fingers around it slightly and roll the ball in big circles across the entire palm. We are trying to hit as many angles and positions as possible.
I assume we need to do the back of the hand as well.
Absolutely. Cup the ball with your opposite hand and use it to massage the back of your working hand. Roll over the thumb joint, across the back of the knuckles, and down toward the wrist. Any area that feels stiff needs a little extra attention.
So that covers the hand itself. Is that it for the massage?
No. This next part is actually the secret to the entire massage technique. We must move down to the wrist and the forearm. John, the muscles that control your fingers actually live in your forearm. If your forearm is tight, the blood cannot easily flow down into your fingertips.
That makes so much sense. The traffic jam is happening further up the arm.
Exactly. So take your ball and place it right under your wrist with your palm facing down on the table. Roll your wrist over the ball for about 5 seconds, then work your way up the inside of your forearm. Roll all the way up toward your elbow.
I can feel some very tender spots in my forearm that I did not even know were there.
Those tight muscles are pulling directly on your finger joints. Now, flip your arm over and massage the back of the forearm. Use your opposite hand to press the ball into the muscles. For many people, the brachioradialis muscle on the top of the forearm is incredibly bound up. Spend extra time there.
Okay, so we have massaged the thumb, the palm, the back of the hand, and the entire forearm. The blood is definitely flowing now.
It is. And now we are going to take this ball and use it for a strengthening exercise. This is fantastic for rebuilding your grip strength, which naturally declines after 60.
Let's do it. What is the movement?
Place the ball back on the table. We are going to do a pinching motion. Take your thumb and your index finger and pinch the ball as hard as you can. Really challenge those muscles. Now, while pinching, lift the ball up off the table.
Okay, I am holding it in the air with just 2 fingers.
Hold it there for 5 full seconds. Do not let it drop. Then release it back to the table. Now move to your middle finger. Pinch the ball between your thumb and your middle finger. Lift and hold for 5 seconds. Work your way all the way down to the pinky finger.
Wow. Lifting it with the ring finger and the pinky is surprisingly difficult.
It is very common to find a weak link. For many people, the ring finger lacks the strength to lift the ball securely. Treat that weak finger as your priority. Throw in 3 or 4 extra repetitions on that specific finger to build it back up.
And I assume we repeat this whole massage and pinch routine on the other hand?
Yes. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other to keep your body balanced. Take your time with this. Now let's move to our third and final exercise, which introduces a different kind of resistance.
All right, everyone. We are on the final exercise. Please feel free to pause the video if you need a moment to grab the equipment. Doctor, what do we need for this one?
You just need an ordinary rubber band. Find one large enough to fit comfortably around the outside of your fingers, but tight enough to provide some snap and resistance.
Okay, I have my rubber band. How do we set this up?
Take the rubber band and wrap it around the outside of your hand. Place it right above the bottom knuckles near the base of your fingers. It is easier to start with the band lower down. Now, close your hand so all your fingertips are touching.
Got it. Hand is closed, band is in place.
We are going to target the thumb first. Keeping your fingers still, slowly push your thumb out and away from your hand, fighting against the stretch of the rubber band. Go as far as you can. When you hit your limit, hold it for a brief second.
And then just snap it back?
No, do not let it snap. Slowly bring the thumb back in, fighting the resistance on the way down as well. You want to control the movement in both directions. Out slowly, in slowly. Do this for 5 repetitions. With each rep, try to push just a millimeter further.
That really isolates the muscles at the base of the thumb.
It does. And to take this to the next level, we change the angle. Instead of pushing the thumb straight out to the side, try pushing it downward toward your wrist against the band. Then try pushing it upward. You will notice that different angles hit the muscles completely differently. Experiment to find your weak spots.
Okay, so we have isolated the thumb. What about the rest of the fingers?
Keep the band in the same place. Now, instead of just moving the thumb, I want you to open your entire hand. Spread all 5 fingers outward simultaneously, fighting the rubber band. Open your hand as wide as you possibly can. Hold for a brief second and slowly close it back up.
I can feel the back of my hand working incredibly hard.
Those are your extensor muscles. We spend all day gripping things, which overworks the flexor muscles on the inside of the hand. This rubber band exercise strengthens the extensors on the outside, which pulls your hand back into proper alignment and relieves joint pressure. Do this 5 times.
Okay, and is there a way to make this harder for people who have strong hands?
Absolutely. If this feels too easy, simply roll the rubber band higher up your fingers. The closer the band gets to your fingertips, the longer the lever becomes, and the much harder the exercise will be. Try raising it up a little bit with each repetition.
And if they need even more resistance?
Use a thicker rubber band or put 2 rubber bands on at the same time. You have complete control over how difficult this exercise is. I highly recommend keeping a rubber band on the table next to your favorite chair so you can do this while watching television.
Doctor, this has been an incredibly thorough routine. We covered mobility without equipment, deep tissue massage, and resistance training.
Yes, and each of these 3 methods does something different. The mobility unglues the joints. The massage clears the pathway for blood to flow. And the rubber band resistance builds the strength to keep your hands functional. You need all three.
How often should people be doing these exercises?
The mobility movements and the massage can be done every single day. They are gentle and restorative. The rubber band strengthening should be done 3 or 4 times a week to give the muscles time to recover.
All right. Thank you, doctor. Everyone grab a tennis ball or a rubber band today. Just try one of these techniques and let us know in the comments which movement felt the best for your hands. And if this helped, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And make sure to watch this next episode.
Oh, this is a good one. People should see
People should
this.
definitely watch. See you there.